Welcome to SwimOutlet.com Tech Talk, the show where we get to bring you the latest technologies in swimming. I'm Maureen Rankin. Thanks for joining us today. On today's show, we bring you SwimOutlet.com Racing Technologies Guide, a guide for you, the consumer, to help you pick out the best racing suit. Joining us today is an expert on the subject, Olympic gold medalist and the assistant coach at the University of Missouri, Mark Ingloff. Mark, thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, you are the resident expert. You basically got to try all the tech suits that Swim Outlet sells and then did reviews on them. Can you give our consumer a little information about the actual guide?
Well, I think, when picking a suit out, it can be hard to look at a bunch of different brands. So what Swim Outlet and I wanted to do is provide information about every single suit, kind of how it fits, how it performs in the water, and just kind of to give an overview across all brands so that people can pick the right suit for themselves.
When looking at a tech suit, what should people look for?
I think the most important thing when selecting a tech suit is how it fits to your body and what your body type is. So kind of knowing going into it, I'm a breaststroker, so I have larger hips and larger butt, and you kind of have to come up with those kind of criteria because that's what's going to help you select the right suit for you. You're a little bit on the skinnier side, you have smaller hips. You're going to pick a different suit than I'm going to pick. So finding the right size and right fit for you is the best.
So do you think that there are certain suits that might be better for different type of swimmers, whether it's strokes or events?
Well, I would say that body types are aligned with events. So not all breaststrokers have the same exact body type, but you can generally speak to the body type of a breaststroker or a butterflyer. Those are going to be the people that are going to be a little shorter, a little stockier. The backstroke events or freestyle events, you can kind of count on a longer, leaner athlete. So I wouldn't select the suit based off your event. I'd just select it off your body type. But certain events have certain body types, so it's kind of one and the same.
Gotcha. You hear a lot about compression and movability. Is that something that's important to you? I'm sure you've tried quite a few of them now and raced in them. Is that something that you would recommend looking for?
For me, my personal preference as an athlete was always to get in the tightest suit as possible. But I wanted it tight across the entire suit. So I didn't want just the seams around my legs to be tighter, just the upper part of my body. I wanted the whole thing to fit me tight, and so that's what I would consider a uniform compression across the whole suit. So that's the type of compression that I look for and like, and I want that to be as tight as possible to hold my muscles in place. And you'll also notice that when you push off the wall or dive in the water, that compression allows you to glide through the water with more ease. So that was always what I was looking for. But there are other athletes out there that prefer less constriction when they're moving through the water or they're kicking through the water, depending on what their personal preference is. For me, I didn't mind kind of having to squeeze myself into a suit because I felt locked in when I did that. But other people prefer a little bit more mobility.
Now, trying the different suits, did you find that size varied in the different suits that are offered?
Absolutely. I mean, sizes, and it's nice now because companies are coming out with half sizes. For me, certain brands I fit better in a 27 than a 28 because I wanted that extra little bit of compression from the suit. So I could personalize, let's say, a Speedo suit for me or a dolphin suit. I went down to a 26 because I wanted the compression. A person that's not as concerned about the compression, they may stick with the larger size. It just kind of depends on how you can do it. But the nice thing is, with the market right now in swimsuits, you can really select the size that's best for you and write down your personal preferences and then pick a suit from that.
When looking at the suits, it's somewhat intimidating. When you're going to buy it, how long should these suits last? I mean, you're making an investment, so how long should they last?
Absolutely, and I think that's important for parents to really kind of consider when buying suits for their kids, is like, how long is this suit really going to last me? I think my general rule of thumb is you buy a suit before a championship season. or a championship meet. And when you buy that suit's going to last you through that championship meet, and then in all the smaller subsequent meets before the next championships meet. So if you want to, keep it for a year, I think that most suits will last almost that long, though they'll get stretched out. They'll lose some of their, performance value, but they won't diminish to the point in which they're bad suits. They'll just lose kind of some of that top end. So if you want the top end value, then you should buy a suit right before your championship meet, and then you can last you the rest of the season.
Mark, how important do you think the cost should be when picking out a tech suit?
I think that depends on your own personal budget, but I don't think you're ever putting yourself at a significant competitive disadvantage by selecting a suit that is of lower price. I think you will get a slightly higher performance value as the price increases and goes up, but the lower end suits perform at a pretty high level. Just understand that as you move up, as you get a little bit better, you may want to consider kind of inching your budget up a little bit at a time.
Okay, so you would say then possibly the ability of the swimmer may come into play when picking out a tech suit.
I think certainly over time that will happen, and that will be a natural progression, and you'll start to know and see that as you get better. I don't think you need to be putting the highest priced suits on 10-year-old athletes. I think they need to be more concerned about how they're performing, how their technique is, how their training is, and then kind of as they kind of progress through the natural course of getting better, getting up to junior nationals, then you'll kind of start selecting the higher priced suits.
Well, excellent. Mark, you've been great help today. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you're in the market for a new tech suit, be sure to check out the Racing Technologies Guide on swimoutlet.com. I'm Maureen Rankin. Thanks for joining us today.